The rooftop smells like rain and rust. Water towers loom in the background like rusted giants against a bruised sky. The city below is all honking horns and blurred headlights, none of it caring about the two people standing 6 feet apart on this crumbling terrace. Kai Nakamura leans against the railing, arms folded, jaw tight. He's wearing a slate gray fitted bomber jacket over a white crewneck tee, dark slim-cut trousers, and clean white sneakers that somehow look expensive without trying. His watch catches the glow of a distant streetlight. He looks like money that learned to be quiet about itself. Across from him stands Reyna Voss. She's got a vintage olive green cargo jacket thrown over a rust-colored slip dress, chunky black boots laced halfway up, and her braids pinned back with a scrunchie that's clearly seen better days. Her eyeliner is sharp. The rest of her? Sharp too. She stares at the envelope he just slid across the rusted patio table like it's a trap. $5,000, she says. To pretend to be your what, exactly? My creative partner. Kai doesn't blink. For one weekend. My family's foundation gala. Everyone thinks I've been co-developing an art series for the past year. They think you exist. You didn't, until tonight. Reyna laughs, but it doesn't reach her eyes. And who told them I existed? Kai looks away. I did. 8 months ago. She stares at him. I needed them off my back about my work, he says. I said I was collaborating with someone. It spiraled. Now my grandfather wants to unveil the series at the gala. In front of donors. Press. The whole thing. So you lied to your entire family for almost a year. Technically I exaggerated. Kai. She crosses her arms. I've seen your grandfather's name on 3 buildings in this city. This isn't some backyard barbecue. I know what it is. Reyna looks at the envelope. Her lease renewal is in 11 days. Her sister's tuition payment bounced twice this month. She doesn't touch it. Why me? She asks. Because you're actually an artist. I've seen your murals on Delancey Street. You know how to talk about the work. He pauses. And because you don't look like someone who needs saving, so no one will question why you'd choose me. That lands somewhere she didn't expect it to. The wind picks up. A plastic bag spirals past them and vanishes off the edge of the roof. There's something you're not telling me, she says quietly. Kai's jaw tightens. He picks up his phone and shows her a photo. An older man, sharp-eyed, sitting in a wheelchair at what looks like a hospital gala. He's smiling but it doesn't soften him. My grandfather. He's been asking to meet my partner for months. His doctors say he has maybe 6 weeks. Kai's voice drops. He built everything he has believing in something I gave up on. If he dies thinking I abandoned the work, abandoned the vision he backed me for. He stops. Reyna looks at the photo a beat too long. 1 weekend, Kai says. She slides the envelope off the table and puts it in her jacket pocket without opening it. I have conditions, she says. Name them. I'm not lying about the art. Whatever story we tell, the work has to be real. I bring my actual portfolio. We build something that could believably exist. Kai nods slowly. Done. And whatever happened between you and your grandfather, whatever the real story is? She looks at him directly. You tell me before we walk through those doors. No surprises. Something shifts in his expression. Just for a second. The kind of shift that happens when someone says exactly the thing you were hoping they wouldn't. Agreed, he says. But he doesn't meet her eyes when he says it. The Nakamura estate sits behind iron gates on a cliff over the water. It's all clean lines and dark wood and glass, the kind of architecture that says wealth without shouting it. Lanterns line the stone path. Inside, the air smells like cedar and something floral that feels imported. Reyna steps out of the rideshare before Kai can open her door. She's wearing a deep burgundy wrap dress that hits mid-calf, gold hoop earrings, and the same chunky boots she always wears because she owns exactly one pair of nice shoes and these aren't them. Her braids are down now, falling over her shoulders. She looks like herself, and she decided that was the point. Kai walks beside her in a tailored charcoal suit jacket with no tie, black dress shirt underneath, fitted trousers. His hair is pushed back. He looks like someone who practiced being calm. "Remember," he murmurs, "we met at a residency showcase 14 months ago. You challenged my artist statement in front of everyone. Was I right?" "Completely." "Good. That's the kind of thing I would do." They step through the entrance. The room is full of people in expensive clothing holding champagne flutes, all making calculated conversation. Art is displayed on every wall, much of it Kai's. Reyna notices it's technically perfect and completely cold. Then she sees the woman across the room. She is standing near a floor-to-ceiling window, wearing a fitted ivory two-piece set, structured blazer and wide-leg trousers, hair in a sleek low bun. She's beautiful in the way that demands you look at her. Her eyes find Reyna like a scanner. "Who is that?" Reyna says under her breath. "My cousin. Sable." Kai's voice stays even. She manages the foundation. "You said we'd talk about the real story before we got here. We will. Later." Reyna stops walking. Right in the middle of the room. "Kai." Her voice is low but firm. "Now. Or I turn around." He exhales. Looks at the floor for exactly 1 second. Then, quietly, "Sable was supposed to be my co-creator on the original series. 3 years ago. We had a falling out. I told my grandfather the project continued. Without her. Did it? No. So your grandfather thinks you've been building something that actually died 3 years ago?" "Yes." "And Sable knows?" "Yes." "And you brought me here to stand in front of all of that?" Kai looks at her. His expression is cracked open in a way he clearly didn't plan. "I know how it sounds. It sounds like you owe a lot of people a lot of truth." Before he can respond, Sable is already moving toward them. Her smile is perfect. Her eyes are not. "Kai," she says warmly, then turns to Reyna. "And you must be the partner we've been hearing about for over a year." Reyna smiles back. "Reyna Voss. Sable Nakamura." She tilts her head. "I'd love to hear about the series. Kai's been so private about it. We all have so many questions about where it actually came from." She says actually like a needle. Reyna feels it land. And then an elderly man in a wheelchair is being guided into the room, and the whole space shifts. Guests step back. Kai goes still beside her. His grandfather sees him from across the room and smiles, and it is one of the most genuinely loving expressions Reyna has ever seen on a person's face. She realizes then that she is completely in over her head. And she is not walking out. The study smells like old books and eucalyptus. Dark bookshelves line the walls. A single desk lamp throws gold light across a framed sketch, charcoal lines that look like hands reaching for something just out of frame. Reyna stops in front of it. She and Kai have been pulled into a private introduction with his grandfather, Hiro Nakamura, who sits wrapped in a soft wool blanket despite the warmth of the house. His eyes are sharp as cut glass. "So," Hiro says, watching Reyna study the sketch. "You are the one who kept my grandson honest." Reyna glances at Kai. He gives her the tiniest nod. "I tried," she says. "He pushed back a lot." Hiro laughs softly. "Good. That means it was real." He turns to Kai. "Show me something. From the series." Kai opens his mouth. Reyna opens her bag first. She pulls out a rolled set of prints, her actual work, pieces she's been developing for 2 years on community identity and erasure, and spreads them on the desk in front of Hiro. Kai stares at her. She doesn't look at him. She talks. She talks about the work the way she always does, directly and without apology, explaining what each image holds, what it resists, what it refuses to say neatly. Hiro leans forward in his chair. This one, he says, pointing to a layered piece showing a neighborhood half demolished and half blooming. This is grief that decided to stay. Yes, Reyna says. Exactly that. They sit with that for a moment. Then Hiro looks at Kai. She speaks the language. You found the right person. Kai's face does something complicated. I know. After, in the hallway outside the study, Kai pulls Reyna aside. The noise of the gala is distant. A painting of a coastline watches them from the wall. That was your real work, he says. Yes. You didn't have to do that. He was going to see through us in 30 seconds, she says. I gave him something true. It was the only way. Kai looks at the painting for a long moment. The series I told him about. The one that was supposed to exist. It was about belonging. About people who build something and then get cut out of it. He pauses. I was writing about myself. About what happened with Sable. But I couldn't finish it. Because finishing it meant admitting I was the one who walked away, not her. Reyna is quiet. She came to me with the concept, Kai says. I didn't believe in it. I chose the Foundation's direction over her vision. She left. I told my grandfather the project evolved. I kept his support. She lost everything she had planned for it. And she's been watching you take credit for an idea you abandoned. Yes. Reyna leans against the wall. Kai. That's not just a falling out. That's a betrayal. He doesn't argue. From down the hall, Sable's voice drifts toward them, talking smoothly to a group of donors, laughing at the right moments. It sounds practiced. It sounds like someone who learned to perform because performing was all that was left. Reyna hears it and feels something she doesn't want to feel, recognition. I need some air, she says. She walks toward the terrace doors. She doesn't see Sable step away from the donors and follow her. The terrace wraps around the back of the estate, overlooking the water. The ocean is dark and enormous. String lights hang above, casting pale amber circles on the stone floor. Somewhere inside, a pianist has started playing something low and unresolved. Reyna stands at the railing, jacket pulled tighter. Sable steps out behind her. She's traded her blazer for a shawl, and without the armor of the crowd she looks younger. Tired in a way that is honest. I'm not here to threaten you, Sable says. Reyna turns. Okay. I genuinely don't know what he told you. Or what you think this is. She stops beside Reyna at the railing and looks out at the water. But I know you put your real work in front of my grandfather tonight. And I know it wasn't his. No, Reyna says. It wasn't. Then you already know the truth. Reyna looks at her. Tell me your version of it anyway. Sable is quiet for a moment. The water moves below them. 3 years ago Kai and I built something together that actually meant something, she says. Not for the Foundation. For us. It was the most honest work either of us had ever done. Then the Foundation board made him choose between their investment and the direction of the project. He chose the money. A pause. He told my grandfather I had creative differences and stepped away. He buried the project. He buried me with it. Did you ever tell your grandfather the truth? He was already sick the first time. I didn't want to destroy his image of Kai. He loves him. Sable's voice goes flat. I still love him, actually. That's the worst part. Something cold moves through Reyna. Sable, she says carefully. When Kai introduced me, you looked like you already knew who I was. Sable turns to look at her. Her jaw tightens. Because I did, she says. I reached out to Kai 2 weeks ago. I told him if he didn't come clean at this gala, I would. He never responded. She looks back toward the glass doors of the estate. But he showed up. With you. Reyna's chest drops. He didn't hire her to avoid being alone. He hired her to have a shield. She was brought here to buy him time. She turns and walks back through the terrace doors without a word, moving through the warm crowd without seeing any of it, past champagne glasses and polished shoes, until she finds Kai standing near the bar talking to a Foundation board member. She touches his arm once. He excuses himself immediately. One look at her face and he knows. They step into an alcove behind a heavy curtain, away from the room. You knew Sable was going to confront you tonight, Reyna says. That's why you needed someone here. Not for your grandfather. Kai doesn't deny it. I needed time, he says. You used me. I needed time, he repeats, and his voice breaks slightly on the second word. I know that doesn't fix it. Reyna stares at him. She should leave. She should take the envelope and walk out the front door and let him handle his own fire. But through the curtain she can hear the soft shuffle of Hiro's wheelchair, and the old man's voice saying Kai's name with warmth that has clearly been saved for years, and she closes her eyes. I'm going to help you, she says quietly. Not because you deserve it. Because he does. Kai looks at her. But after tonight, she says, you are going to go back to Sable and tell her every true thing. Whatever that costs you. All of it. He nods. She steps back through the curtain. And at the far end of the room, Hiro Nakamura raises his glass toward them and smiles. 3 weeks later. The gallery is small and smells like fresh paint and old wood. Track lighting makes the walls glow. The work on display is real, every piece of it, Reyna's series alongside new panels that Kai and Sable co-created in the 2 weeks after the gala. Raw, unfinished looking, the kind of art that admits it has something to say and isn't sure how to say it cleanly. That's the point. Reyna stands near the entrance in olive wide-leg trousers and a cream-ribbed tank, her braids half up. She's holding a sparkling water, watching people read the wall plaques that credit all 3 of them. Hiro Nakamura passed away 9 days after the gala. He never knew the full truth of what had happened 3 years ago. But in his last conversation with Kai, something had been said. Reyna doesn't know exactly what. She only knows that Kai came to her the morning after, red-eyed, and said his grandfather had told him he didn't need the truth to trust him. He only needed Kai to stop running from himself. Kai finds her now near the entrance. He's wearing a dark navy overshirt open over a clean white tee, dark jeans, the same quiet expensive sneakers. He looks like someone who has slept. That's new. Sable wants to talk to you, he says. She's here? She helped hang the show. Reyna absorbs that. Across the room, Sable is speaking to a small group of guests. She's wearing a soft camel-colored blazer over a black turtleneck, and she's laughing, actually laughing, in a way that has nothing practiced about it. You really told her everything, Reyna says. Every word. Kai looks at the floor. She was furious. And then she was tired. And then we just sat in the same room for a long time not saying anything. He pauses. And then she asked if we could make something together. As a kind of settlement, she said. She was joking. I think. Is it a settlement? I think it's just what comes next. Reyna looks at the art on the walls. Her work. Their work. The whole strange collision of it. I never cashed the envelope, she says. Kai looks at her. What? The 5,000. I didn't cash it. She finally looks at him. I don't know why I'm telling you that. Maybe because you want me to know you weren't performing either. She doesn't answer, which is an answer. Kai takes a breath. I want to ask you something. And I need you to know it has nothing to do with a deal. Okay. Can I take you to dinner? Not as anything. Not as a cover story. Just as the person who told me I owed people the truth and then stood there while I figured out how to do it. Reyna looks at him for a long moment. Outside the gallery window, the city is doing what it always does. Moving, indifferent and alive. But in here the light is warm and the work on the walls is honest, and there is a man in front of her who has spent 3 weeks finding out what his own character is made of. She finishes her sparkling water. You're paying, she says. He laughs. And it is the first genuinely unguarded thing she has ever heard from him. She turns and walks toward Sable, and Kai watches her go, and for the first time in a very long time, he does not feel like someone trying to survive an evening. He feels like someone who might just be okay. The end.